Staff Chairman General Mark Milley confirming that some National Guard troops had bayonets at last month's Black Lives Matter protests in Washington. That revelation coming in response to questions from two congressmen who now have more questions about how the military responded. One of those lawmakers, Illinois Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, who sits on the Oversight and Intelligence Committees, joins me now. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Alicia.
And before we begin, I'd like to put up something from what the Associated Press is reporting, and we'll read that now. An unclassified military document obtained by the AP also shows that some of the soldiers were not prepared to deal with the protesters. Instead, commanders plan to give them the proper training within 96 hours of their arrival in Washington. I want to give you a chance to respond to that part, and then we can talk about these bayonets.
Yes, I think that the reason why so many people in the military, Alicia, as well as others, are so disturbed by active duty troops being deployed in these types of situations is that they're not trained to be able to control protests or riots, and that was the case here. And I think that saying that they were going to receive 96 hours of training or 4 days of training in that type of situation is very concerning, to say the least.
Can you explain your concern? You wrote a letter with your colleague regarding these bayonets. Can you explain your concern there?
Yes, ma'am. So basically the idea there was, again, they were not trained in the use of bayonets, and these people are young men and women are put into a situation that's really untenable. They are given live rounds and firearms, and they are able to defend themselves, and they should be able to. I think that the reason why this story is so newsworthy is that people think that providing them with bayonets, especially in a situation where they're not trained to do so, they're not trained to control riots, is a bridge too far.
What do you think they should have done? When you see some of the video that's come out of there, and we've heard from our colleagues, some of these were peaceful, yes, but not all of them, and some of them became very dangerous. What else would you have preferred?
Well, first of all, fortunately, active duty troops were not actually deployed in these protests, although they were contemplated. National Guard troops have the ability to control these riots and to try to tamp down the violence in different ways, and they should. Violence is completely unacceptable. Looting is unacceptable. At the same time, it's unacceptable to have a situation that escalates, and we're basically arraying military or our active duty troops against the very people they're supposed to protect, Americans and American civilians.
I want to move on to another topic here because, as you know, the Gang of Eight party leaders did receive their intel